So apparently, we're not the only ones concerned with the guy in the White House's relationship with Russia. According to the New York Times, the FBI was so worried that he could be working as some kind of agent for them that they opened up an investigation into it. He even physically took the translator's notes of his talk with Putin in Hamburg, which is why I think my new nickname for him might be the Hamburglar. You gotta have a little levity in there, just a little.
I got one too. Shall I tell you mine?
Sure.
Benedict Donald.
So what'd you think when you first heard just that this was going on?
I thought, duh.
Really? I was surprised that there was a counterintelligence investigation going on, because I think we all knew that there was an investigation going on into collusion and an investigation going on into obstruction. But the fact that the FBI opened up a counterintelligence investigation into the President of the United States.
What that means.
A counterintelligence investigation is basically an investigation by the FBI to determine whether or not the acting, sitting President of the United States is a foreign spy for a foreign power. That floored me. In fact, I was driving into work this morning with my mom, and my mom said, she's never floored about anything, and she said, is it possible that the sitting United States President is a Russian spy? And I just said, I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing, though. I don't think anyone has the answers right now.
Yeah.
I was just as shocked by it. Frankly, of all the things we've talked about at this table, this is by far, I don't even have a word for it, but the craziest, because we're now in this place where you either are going to have a President Trump who wins another 4 years, or he gets ousted from office for potentially, or for being an agent for the Russians. Like, we're just in this really strange place as a country. And look, full disclosure, I'm sitting here with my dad's the ambassador to Russia. I think he would be more shocked than anybody if this were true. So there's still a lot that we don't know.
He might not know, though. I mean, your father is an ambassador. This is the covert operations. He may not know what's going on.
Is Trump capable, though, of covert operations?
Well,
I just don't. I don't know.
That's funny.
That is a good. Oh,
I've never pressed it before.
that is a good point. I mean, you know, he can barely run our country, let alone. It's hard for me to think that he'd be like this, like, brilliant espionage spy. But I put nothing off the table anymore in 2019, because I think we're on Earth 2, and there's some parallel universe of Earth 1 where, like, Jeb Bush is president, and I'm happy, and, like, it's different. But I will say the New York Times reported that there's no evidence that it has emerged publicly that Mr. Trump was secretly in contact with or took direction from Russian government officials. The problem with the political optics of this administration is when you go to Helsinki and you look like you're palling around with one of the worst dictators of my generation.
And it's
this
in
is
secret,
how people,
and it's in secret.
Yes, but this is how people could believe it. Like Occam's razor, the simplest solution is almost
But what
always
about
the
the
likely
fact that, Megyn, that he's pulling out of Syria? That helps the Russians. They changed the whole policy at the Republican convention. Well, maybe you do, but it helps Assad, doesn't it?
But yes, it does. And it's in the benefit of the extermination of the West, which is what Putin's #1 issue is by far.
And also at the Republican convention, they changed the platform so that they now they basically they're helping the Russians when they invaded the Ukraine. We are now not helping the Ukrainians. We're stopped selling them weaponry to fight the Russians.
I just want to say one thing, because
sounds
you and I are really, and I think most women, we're all simpatico on this. If you're offended by that, you should be offended by Tulsi Gabbard running for president. She's the mouthpiece for Bashar al-Assad. She went and met with him and came back and spewed his propaganda. It is embarrassing for the Democratic Party. At the same time, us as Americans should be on the same page about murderous dictators.
Okay, but she's a congresswoman, and we're talking about the president.
But I'm just saying, you should be equally offended by her.
I probably would be.
I'm offended by everybody. I'm just offended. But you know who reacted to the report when he emerged from the White House before we went on air this morning, and this is what he said.
I never worked for Russia, and you know that answer better than anybody. I never worked for Russia. Not only did I never work for Russia, I think it's a disgrace that you even asked that question, because it's a whole big fat hoax. It's just a hoax.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, we're still.
Oh my goodness.
We're still trying
Sorry,
to
we had a little. We are French
all
on
the-
Carl's here.
all the implications.
Welcome, John.
Hey, good to be here.
So, like, you know, I know you see John Carlson.
Yes.
Okay, so we called him because we want some help understanding what the hell's going on. He is the ABC. Okay.
The chief White House
I was
correspondent.
just about to. Yeah, everybody can do my job. Why am I here? John, can you just break all this Russia down? Explain to us what exactly is going on.
Well, first of all, this is an extraordinary story in the New York Times. This was the FBI in the days after Comey was fired. The FBI, led by then acting director Andrew McCabe, they'd opened a counterintelligence investigation into whether or not the president either wittingly or unwittingly was an agent of the Russian government. It's an amazing story. There are a couple important things to say about it. One, it reflects the deep distrust, total breakdown in trust, I would say, between the President of the United States and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Right.
That they would actually be investigating the President's actions not during the campaign, not the question of collusion, but whether or not he was acting as President, as an agent of the Russian Federation.
Yeah.
That said, there's another very important thing, which is and eventually we got the appointment of the special counsel, Robert Mueller,
Right.
and there has been zero indication that has been part of the Mueller investigation. There was enough evidence to make that part of the Russia investigation. So it says a lot about how suspicious the president's behavior was, his meeting with the Russians, with the Russian ambassador, the Russian foreign minister in the Oval Office. But it also says a lot about the way the FBI leadership at that time, all of whom have been or are gone, viewed the president of the United States.
Right.
So, but let's talk about the meeting in Helsinki.
Yeah.
Because that's glaring. I mean, he basically took Putin's, the Russian side against the CIA and the FBI, remember that?
Yeah.
And nobody knew what went on there except for the interpreter, and then he took the notes away from the interpreter. So what do we make of all that? I mean, are we ever going to get those notes?
Well, that was the meeting in Hamburg. That was a different meeting with Putin. But the president
Oh, I'm sorry.
does.
Wait, in Helsinki, I saw that.
But
nobody was there except the two of
exactly.
them.
And here's and there's some important context. This president does something that I have never heard of any other president do. He meets with foreign leaders one-on-one with translators.
Right.
So we know he's done it with Putin several times.
With no national advisor.
With no national security advisor, no Secretary of State, nobody else from his team.
Right.
But it's important to point out that that's a total break with precedent, and there's reasons why you don't do that. First of all, the president's doesn't know everything in the world about whatever country, no matter how brilliant the president is. But secondly, if you have to follow up on anything coming out of those meetings, you need your national security apparatus to do that. Right. But it's also important to point out, he didn't just do it with Putin. He met one-on-one with several other leaders. He met one-on-one with Kim Jong-un for an hour and a half in Singapore. He met one-on-one with President Xi of China at Mar-a-Lago. He takes phone calls from foreign leaders in the residence. Just him, which again, normally you have your whole team there.
Right.
So, it's important context. It's not just the way he behaves with Putin.
Stay, please.
Okay.
Yes.
We have more to talk about. We'll be right back.